I just want to give you a quick video on hanging idles because I've been getting a lot of questions about that. So I had one with this 06 CRF250R, and the first thing you can do is either clean or replace the pilot jet in here. This is really common if the bike has been sitting for a while. If you're using ethanol in your gas, the gas goes really bad and clogs up those pilot jets. So on this one, you can just loosen the two carb clamps, rotate the carb, and then you can access the pilot jet when you take this float bowl drain cap off. Just get a small flat blade screwdriver that fits in there properly so it won't round the brass off. Or I really like this new tusk tool. You can put these different inserts in there. You can change the pilot or main jet. Now if that's not it, you may need to tune the fuel screw, because if it's a hanging idle, that means it's too lean, too much air is getting in. You might need to turn the fuel screw out, which on this one is right here, the spread knob. This is an aftermarket adjustable fuel screw, making it easy. I can just turn it by hand. Otherwise, you'll need that special short screwdriver to get in there. And if that doesn't fix it, well, it might be that the O-ring on the fuel screw is either broken or missing, which on this carb, I pulled the fuel screw out, and yes, that O-ring was broken. And when that happens, or if it's missing, or if it's not properly in the right order, air can leak past that and get into the carb, causing that hanging idle and lean fuel mixture. So it should be spring on first, and then washer, and then that rubber O-ring. And make sure you're careful when you put it in there, because that O-ring can sometimes come off or get sideways, and then it won't seal properly. Did that with this bike, and it still had that erratic idle, hanging idle. I was backfiring. So then I moved on to the hot start. The hot start is right here. It's kind of hard to see, but this one, it has this screw in there that threads in. Sometimes these plastic threads can get stripped out and it won't stay in there. This one was actually cracked right here, so I just decided to get a aftermarket build aluminum one, and then I added an O-ring to it. But when that is not sealing, or the plunger in there is actually sticking, it's sticking open. So on this one, the lever, the hot start lever is right here. I pulled it off just to make sure that it wasn't pulling it open, because if that's stuck open, or if there's an air leak there, that can also cause that lean mixture, giving you that hanging idle. So I replaced that. I pulled the lever off, just gave it an O-ring, made sure it was properly sealing. That didn't fix it either. So I ended up taking half the bike apart, almost pulling the carb off, and I ordered the mid-body O-ring kit. So you got the float ball here, this is where the jets are, and then you can take this mid-body out, and then there's O-rings inside here, because those can go bad after sitting for 10-15 years, especially when you use ethanol gas or even use carb cleaner, because carb cleaner is really hard on those rubber O-rings, which one reason why I never use carb cleaner, I was sticking my ultrasonic cleaner with a special cleaner that's safe on the rubber O-rings. So I replaced the mid-body O-rings, and then while I was doing that, I found that the throttle slide plate on the engine side, there's a little plate that comes off. It was upside down. So the guy before me, who had cleaned it multiple times, for some reason accidentally put it on upside down. So took it out, put it right side up, replaced those mid-body O-rings, put it back on, and after a few kicks, the bike started up. After I adjusted the idle and the fuel screw, it seemed to run pretty blasted well. And before, I had to run like a 50 pilot jet just to get it to start easily, but it was still running lean and wouldn't even idle with the choke on. But now, I am using what most people use, the 42 pilot jet, although I have the fuel screw at 2.5 turns out, and it's still just a tiny bit of hanging idle, so I'm probably going to go up to a 45 pilot and then re-dial in that fuel screw. But 95% better. The bike runs, it's rideable now, it starts better, it idles. And I also forgot to mention that the valves, tight valves, can cause that too. I had one intake valve that was tight, and I adjusted it, the rest were good. and that didn't make a difference either. So it was that carb, the mid-body gasket, and or that throttle slide plate that was upside down. So I recommend starting with the easier things to check, and then just keep going through all those steps that I just showed you, and eventually you'll find it. If you found this helpful, let me know, and if there's another way that you fixed your hanging idle on your dirt bike, let us know in the comments below. And if you want some tips on how to be a confident trail rider, check out this video here. I'm Kelly Fager from MXHideout. Ride safe, have fun.